We came so far from dreams. The path was hard for me. They thought we fall, you see. Well, look at us now, look at us now. We make it hot when we on the scene. Yeah, that's 1,000 degrees. I got a grind for me and my team. Yeah, you know we gon' eat. You see the crowds when we come around. You know that I roll with some kings. We sit it down, I don't hear a sound, but I ask you who better than we. Tell me who better than we. We soaring to places you never could reach. When we walk in that spot, don't hear none of you speak. Shh, do you want peace or the peace? A king about to put you to sleep. Listen, my team is elite. You not even qualified to compete. He starving, he barely can eat. I guess that's why he always itching for beef. So I put him on ice and I told him to chill. Close your mouth if you can't pay for the meal. Making statements that you know you don't mean. Nice guy trying to act like he mean. Keep it a buck, keep it a bean. Attitudes will put you dudes in the beam. Isekai, he don't live in reality. Shake back off, become a fatality. Yeah, how you gon' hate when you mirror us? He think he a star, he ain't serious. X him out, we not on the same frequency. If you broke, you ain't hearing us. Work the screw, anime, that's how I feel, period. We winning, that's making them furious. We make it high when we on the scene, yeah, that's 1,000 degrees. I got a grind for me and my team, yeah, you know we gon' eat. You see the crowds when we come around, you know that I roll with some kings. We sit it down, I don't hear a sound, but I ask you who better than we.
Yo, what it do, guys? It is your boy, Leo Mookie here, back for you with another new part of What If Izuku Was the Gold Knight Garo. This is part 2, and thanks a lot for the love and support that you guys gave me for my birthday What If special, after all. Honestly, I was kind of worried that wasn't going to get a lot of traction or support, to be honest. But really, thanks, guys. All your love and support for this channel and for me really does allow me to keep on doing what I've been doing. No matter how much people want to look down on my content for being an MHA fan, after all. But it doesn't matter. I still love doing what I'm doing. At any rate, let's go with that of a quick recap in the last part. In the last part, we went on that of the origins and the beginnings of Izuku and the world of MHA mixed with that of Garo. As the emergence of quirks, before the emergence of quirks, the Makai Order, the Makai Knights and Alchemists were the ones who were the true protectors of humanity before pro-hero profession, after all, against that of the monsters known as horrors. But with that of the inclusions of quirks, it's become that of difficult for that of Makai Knights and Alchemists to do their jobs, to take down the evils of the horrors. So they decided to create that. The Makai Order created that of several pro-hero agencies to train that of newly up-and-coming pros to become Makai Alchemist and to be similarly part of the Order as well. However, their true guardians and protectors, the Makai Knights, on the other hand, was the Order that was truly suffering for the Order, with only that of 10 Makai Knight families remain all across the world. However, one of those families being the Midoriya family, the same family of Izuku, who was also trained from birth to become a Makai Knight as well. But not just any knight, one of the strongest knights, the Gold Knight, Garo, as Izuku plans on not just being a Makai Knight, defender of humanity from the horrors, but also still plans on becoming a pro-hero as well. So, with all that said, let's get into this, shall we, guys? As months have now gone by since Izuku has become and inherit that of the gold armor from his father, Hisashi, who, even though he has passed on that of his armor, is not defenseless as people believe he is, given that he passed on his armor to his son, as he's a skilled fighter even with or without the armor. Not only that, he's also been studying that of Makai alchemy as well. So he's a Makai alchemist too. So he's still able to do his duty while still able to pass on that of his family's treasure to his son. As for Izuku, on the other hand, it took a while for him to get used to in the armor. However, when being in the armor, it's like being high, like having ultimate power. To Izuku, it almost feels like it's actually having a quirk He believed that being in the Golden Knight armor, that he has a quirk, that he has power, true strength beyond any strength. Hell, he even believes that with the armor itself, that he is beyond a quirk, which he's not wrong after all, but even so, if he allows too much of his emotions or his hubris or ego to cloud him, the armor will basically denounce Izuku, even when it's passed on to him. The armor of Garo has a mind of its own. It chooses its wielder based on their determination, their will, their emotional status, and everything else as well. And the number one thing that symbolizes that of a person who bears the armor of the Gold Knight is their will and courage, which Izuku has in spade. Well, maybe early on Izuku, maybe not, but this Izuku, on the other hand, does. As ever since he was trained since birth, ever since he was a little kid, he had to basically have the will, the determination, and the courage to face against horrors, no matter what. Hesitation alone will basically cause innocent people's deaths. Originally, Izuku was always hesitant on killing others, hell, even horrors as well. Back then when he was a kid, he always asked questions, is there any way to save a horror? Or basically convince them not to do what they're doing. However, every person that Izuku has come in contact with that's part of the Makai Order, or basically any Makai alchemist, or even the few knights that he's interacted with too, counting his father, have always told him the same thing. You have to kill a horror, as there is no such thing as a good horror. Which early on, it really conflicted with Izuku's morality and basically his ideas on what a hero should be. However, he also began to realize that Makai Knights are not heroes. They're protectors. They're guardians. Their duty is to keep people safe from that of these abominable monstrosities. Their duty is to make sure that nobody has to suffer from their evil. So, even though Izuku doesn't want to see this as black and white, maybe, just maybe, one day, he'll be proven wrong. That there could be at least one horror that's not as evil as the Makai Order believes they are. But until that day, he'll just have to keep on fighting and keep on protecting those who can't protect themselves. Currently now, it's been that of 10 months since that of Izuku gaining that of the Golden Knight armor. And through those few months, besides training, he's also been going on missions from the Makai Order to kill horrors. He's still that of a junior high student, of course. So to be fair, he can't always, take on these jobs. So they basically have at least that of some pro heroes who became that of Makai alchemists that take care of them instead. But when he's in the area, or if he has the free time, then he has to take care of them. Showing that the Order is basically working with that of somebody of Izuku's schedule. Back in the day, when it came to that of being a Makai Knight and the Makai orders and rules, they had to be carried out and followed to the very degree. They can't be failed and they can't be ignored no matter what. That was how it always has been and always would be. But as the time goes on, and that the Makai Order had to change as well, they decided to basically change things up. If they invite that of Makai Order members, such as that of Knights and Alchemists that are too young or are currently in that of still in school, such as that of junior high, high school, and college, then they'll basically work around that of their schedule and give them time to work and take care of that of horrors. But if they fully become full-grown adults and finally become that of members of society as a whole, then they have to follow these orders to the letter. No excuses, no complaints, no nothing. That's how it's always been and how it always would be. So, Izuku has basically a time limit to enjoy what time he has as that of a kid, while also balancing being that of a Makai Knight. Currently now, this is his 15th mission since becoming the successor of the Gold Knight. His current mission is to hunt down a horror that has been causing quite a bit of trouble, and that's of Shinjuku. The horror has mainly been attacking those from that of the, well, red light district after all. Mainly those who come from bars, to be fair. In a way, this horror is only aiming for those who are drunk and cannot defend themselves properly. It has killed almost that of five innocent civilians and 2 pro heroes. One of those pro heroes was a Makai alchemist that was off duty at the time. Izuku's mission is to find this horror and slay it, prevent any more tragedies from happening. As Izuku basically rereads his mission through his smartphone message, as he puts away his phone and stands up with that of his katana in his hands. Also, a little bit of a switch here. Izuku's katana is actually that of a double-edged katana, not a regular Japanese-style katana. I thought it'd be a lot more interesting that way. Not a lot of anime basically give up respect to double-edged swords, given how rare they are. So yeah, that little tidbit out of the way. However, Izuku's attire is completely different. Instead of being in his school uniform or some casual clothes, he's currently wearing that of a white coat with that of gold embroidery around it, with that on the back, showing that of the face of the Gold Knight Garo on his back. Not only that, under that of the white coat is a black muscle shirt that shows quite a bit of Izuku's abs and well-defined muscle, actually. Also wearing that of a black pants too. However, the only thing that still stays the same no matter where he goes is his red shoes, no matter what. As he soon basically looks around, thinking the horror mainly attacks that of drunken people. Luckily, it's only been active for that of 2 weeks. 2 weeks is long enough, I had to say. As he still looks over the building and seeing a lot of people basically having a good time. Some people coming from bars, not drunk, but still maybe a little tipsy, but not fully drunk. Girls in that of, well, provocative and fancy dresses, basically taking in guys in that of clubs, but are actually cabaret clubs. So nothing you guys gotta worry about. But some of them being in that of the red light district or the kind of clubs that you guys are thinking of. With then soon looking around, thinking, Shinjuku is a big place, and the red light district is just as big. To be honest, no way in hell I'm going to be able to find somebody that's going to be drunk so easily, and plus there's probably a lot of people already drunk. Hell, they're pretty sure there are over 100 bars in that of Shinjuku. Knowing my luck, I wouldn't be able to find it so easy. Within, soon, feeling that of a disturbance, as he could feel the shift in the air basically change, as he basically follows the shift. As he looks down, he can't help but feel that of an evil and melodious intent down below. As Izuku couldn't help but narrow his eyes and say, looks like I found you. Your intent alone is basically radiating off of everywhere. You horror. But then soon, Izuku grips on that of his katana sheath heart basically tightly, before then jumping down from the building. Within soon, a pudgy man with that of a somewhat flushed face, with that of a bald, as his hair is starting to bald, wearing that of a pretty much regular suit, is currently basically tipsy everywhere, as many people are trying to avoid him, while some are basically calling him stupid drunk and getting out of the way, as the guy just hasn't even bothered, as all he's trying to do is just get back to the train station so he can at least try and sleep this, well, hangover off after all. However, he decides to take that of a shortcut to the train station through an alleyway. As he goes through that of the alleyway, still basically a little bit out of it, little did he know, something is coming straight for him. Basically clinging to the walls, stalking him from below. As it couldn't help, as it has that of a silent growl, as it opens up its mouth and seeing that of rows of sharp, large teeth, as it has that of a slimy and slurly tongue coming out of its mouth. As it's soon about to jump down and strike at that of the man, but he soon stopped with one by Izuku as he stabs down onto that of the horror's head, as it soon winces in pain and agony. Within suit, the man couldn't help but think, "Whoa, what's going on?" as he sees Izuku stabbing into that of the horror's head, before then saying, "Hey kid, the heck you're doing? Don't you know what you're basically killing an innocent?" Within soon, Izuku giving him that of a look of pure and utter annoyance, saying, "You, sir, if you could you please leave now? You're in danger, if you would be." Within soon, even while drunk, he can feel that of the menacing pressure coming off that of Izuku, saying, Sure, whatever, kid. Just don't blame me if you get arrested." As he burps and basically wobbles off. Within soon, the horror still basically having that of Izuku's sword in his head, saying, "It always really catches me off guard, knowing how much you horrors can basically survive such attacks like this, proving that you truly are monsters of a greater breed." Within soon, jumping off that of the horror with basically removing his sword before sliding back, as Izuku couldn't help but narrow his eyes even more, as the horror, getting its bearings, couldn't help but hiss and growl at that of Izuku, seeing its appearance even better, as it has that of long, lanky legs and arms, and sharp razor 3 claws on both its feet and its hands, with that of a quite hunched over and lanky body, as it has no eyes, but only just one large mouth and tongue. Within saying, "Horror, you have killed over that of 5 innocent people, 2 pro-heroes, and one of them was a Makai alchemist. For your crimes, I, Izuku Midoriya, Golden Knight, sentence you to death. May your soul rest in peace in the afterlife when I'm done with you." Within, as the monster basically gives off that of a growl, which causes that of several people to run away, as Izuku noticing this, saying, "Gotta take care of this quick so the pros don't get involved. After all, it's too early for my debut to the pro scene, to be fair." Within soon, Izuku, standing in place, before then raising up that of his katana up into the air, create that of a circle. Before then, the circle comes down, as he's now engulfed in his gold armor, as then, still you can see that of Izuku's emerald green eyes through that of the armor. As then, he soon gets into that of his battle stance, as he brings that of his left leg forward, bends his right leg back, and his sword basically close to that of his left arm. Within, soon, the horror comes straight at Izuku. Izuku, in that of a blinding speed, without even that of breaking a sweat, and that almost close to that of breaking the sound barrier, slices the horror in two, but not finishing there, he soon basically creates that of another shockwave slash from that of his speed alone, and slices the other half in force. Before then, blood begins to spew across that of the alleyway, as then Izuku begins getting soaked in somewhat of that blood for a bit. Before then, the remains of the horror begins to fade, almost like that of ashes removing from that of being burned from that of a body. As Izuku looking at that of his handiwork, with that of the enhanced hearing of the armor, he soon begins to hear that of pros basically coming his way, as he soon jumps up onto that of one of the rooftops before running off, as his armor is quite loud and clangy, but moving as fast as he is, no way in hell that anybody is going to be able to catch him no matter what. As, once again, he can't help but enjoy being inside of the Golden Knight armor. Even though he has to kill that of horrors, Izuku still feels free within inside of it. However, while he's basically fleeing from the scene, he soon He soon arrives at that of a place to equip that of his armor, as soon the armor basically breaks apart and fades away in that of motes of golden light. Before then, pulling out that of his phone and sending a message saying, "Job is done," heading straight back to that of one of the branches. Within, soon, a message saying, "Good work, Mr. Midoriya. Please come back to the branch to verify." Within, Izuku replies back and then heading off. Somewhere back in that of Masafu, Izuku's home city and one of the district cities of Tokyo, in the downtown area of the city, lies that of a pretty ordinary, office building actually. Basically nothing but a 3-story office building. On the outside, it looks plain. Heck, even in the inside, it looks quite plain. However, in reality, this is basically a front company for the Makai Order, as this place basically deals out that of information, recon, jobs, and basically requests for that of Makai Alchemists and Makai Knights. Basically, it's a base of operations for that of the Makai Order, with Izuku entering inside and soon punching in that of a card, with soon one of the workers, as it being that of a regular, office worker woman, as her clothing basically shows that she's quite modest. Just basically a bland gray, uniform, business uniform, pencil neck skirt and everything with that of black heels. And her hair basically tied up into that of a top bun with that of black glasses. However, what stands out the most is how curvaceous that this woman is, to be honest. However, her facial expression shows that she's basically quite bored, saying, "Good night, Izuku Midoriya. You have finished your job, have you not?" Saying, "Yes, I have, ma'am." As Izuku bows his head, within saying, "No need of any of that, as I told you before. Your phone." Within, Izuku offering that of his phone towards the woman, before then placing that of a certain little mysterious coin on that of his screen, before then showing that of the horror, before then showing how what happened to it by Izuku, as then she removes that of the coin, before then giving it back to Izuku saying, "We have verified that you have killed the horror. Your payment and compensation have been sent to that of your trust fund account by your father." Saying, "Understood. Thank you, ma'am." As Izuku bows his head once again, within she's saying, "By the way, you have that of the UA entrance exam tomorrow. Why did you take on this job when you knew you had to get up early, young Midoriya?" Within, Izuku saying, Sorry. I just wanted to take care of one last job before I had to take care of the entrance exam. I'm aware once I go into UA, I won't be able to do my duties as that of the Gold Knight for at least a while now. So I want to try at least do as much as I can while I can." Within, the woman can help but sigh, saying, "You're too much of a bleeding heart. You have too much of a kind-hearted soul. I'm surprised somebody like you could even become a Makai Knight." Within, Izuku saying, "Sorry if I disappoint you," saying, No. You've done well. Just don't let your heart bleed too much." With Izuku taking her words, as he's soon about to walk off, before then saying, "Also, a bit of a heads up, but you haven't heard this from me." Within, Izuku stopping, looking back, saying, "The Silver Knight will be attending UA." Within, Izuku saying, "Wait, what? They'll be attending UA? Wait, are they a boy or a..." Saying, "I will not tell you. You must figure that out yourself. Just be prepared. Just because you both are Makai Knights and are under that of permission from the Order doesn't mean that the two of you are allies. Either due to your clashing ideals, the way on how you do things, or that your families may have been rivals. Sometimes your fellow Makai Knights will be your enemies." As saying all this, Izuku began to digest her words, believing that even his own future allies could be his enemies too. Within, Izuku saying, "Thank you for your words of advice. I'll take them to heart. However, I still believe that all of us as Makai Knights need to work together for the greater good. As he bows his head, before then walking off. As the automatic doors open, Izuku heads off into the night. Within, she can help but sigh, saying, what was Hasashi thinking making his son the Golden Knight? He should have entrusted it to one of his trusted friends, or possibly even one of his relatives instead. That boy is too much of a bleeding heart. Within, soon, she begins to hear that of a voice upstairs saying, hey, Sarah, if you're done basically brooding down there and complaining about Midoriya, we still have some paperwork to do. As the woman couldn't help but have that of a twitching eyebrow, before then sighing, saying, I'm heading back up, Yuri. As the woman basically heads upstairs, back with Izuku, he's currently walking home as he thinks, the Silver Makai Knight, or rather his full title, the Silver Fanged Knight, Zero. Just like the Gold Knight, the Silver Knight has always been is considered the second strongest knight, all in history. Then there's the other knights as well, such as that of Dan, the Midnight Sun Knight, Baron, the Thunder Knight, Lord, the Flash Knight, Kiba, the Dark Knight, Bondo, the Storm Knight, Crow, the Phantom Knight, Guy, the Skybow Knight as well. Not to mention Zen, the Flame Sword Knight too, Giga, the Beast Knight, and last but not least, Roseanne, the Shining Shadow Knight. All of these knights are scattered across the world. However, my father told me that at least that of 5 of these knights still live in Japan. However, there were at least that of a few Makai Knights that gave in to the horrors, that abandoned the Makai Order, and now are enemies of the Order itself, deemed heretics. First off being that of Gyun, the heretic Bone Knight, Kuro, the heretic Dark Knight, and Razor, the heretic Blade Knight. Outside of those 3, the other families that were tied to that of the knights, or passed their knights to that of trusted friends or acquaintances, still live on to this day. As the Gold Knight Garo, it's my duty to make sure to work with them. It's our duty to protect all of humanity from the horrors. One of the knights will be one of my future classmates at UA, if I'm even able to pass the UA entrance exam. As Izuku basically stops in place, before then sighing to himself, and as he soon places his sword on that of his hip, before then slapping his cheek, saying, no need to stop overthinking things, Izuku. You got this. I can do this. I know I can. I've trained for years in combating horrors. This exam alone will be no problem for me. Besides, I've already signed the necessary paperwork to allow me to use that of my katana, use my double-edged katana in the entrance exam. And without my katana, I won't be able to transform into my Gold Knight armor. So I shouldn't be worried, right? Right. As Izuku, with a smile on his face, runs back home, getting ready to get a good night's sleep after taking a bath and getting ready for the UA entrance exam. A few hours later, currently early in the morning, Izuku already out leaving that of the bus and now standing in front of the prestigious Hero High School. With Izuku basically couldn't help but feel a little bit, worried actually, as all that bravado that he had before now is basically gone down the drain. As he still has his school bag on his shoulder, on that of his back, with that of his katana, not his training katana, but his fully double-edged sword katana on his back, wrapped up entirely. But then thinking, maybe I was overthinking things. As Izuku's nervousness is basically showing, as many people basically writing him off, especially that of a certain person screaming, out of my way, Deku! Within, suit, Izuku saying, Kachan. As he looks back, seeing his former childhood friend, now turned tormentor, within soon saying, go ahead, it's not like I care too much. With then saying, what the hell ever. So you decide to show your ass up. As much as I would love to beat the living shit out of you for even showing up here. Within, soon, many people began whispering about that of Bakugo, threatening Izuku, saying, it's not like you're even going to make it anyway. You'll die at the very start of it to begin with. With Izuku narrowing his eyes at that of Bakugo, as Bakugo walks off, as Izuku couldn't help but sigh, before then saying, I'm overthinking things once again, as always. With the motivation I have here, Kachan's right. I would definitely die at the very start of the practical exam. So, I need to get my focus back. Remember, everything that I've done to get this far. As Izuku takes that a deep breath, small and calming deep breaths, before then having that of a serious and determined look on his face, saying, I got this. No way in hell I'm going to fall here. As Izuku takes one step, within soon, he trips on himself saying, or I'm just going to die out here instead of me in the beginning of the exam. As before he could fall, within realizing he's floating, as soon it be right beside him being that of a girl with that of bob cut brown hair with that of long bangs on both sides, as she has that of rosy cheeks and wearing that of a red coat. Within, she's saying, hey, you shouldn't begin to fall before you even get a chance to start. It'd be bad luck after all. With then, Izuku not even flaunting or basically, flailing around like crazy, given that he's in the air. With soon, she basically lets go of him as he stands back on the ground without even breaking a sweat. Before then saying, thank you, miss. Sorry, you had to use your quirk on me, saying, it's okay. I'm the one that should be apologizing for using my quirk on you without permission, though. Just be more careful, okay? As she soon walks off, within Izuku couldn't help but smile, saying, well, I guess there are at least some good people out there who do good things, even in the smaller details. As Izuku walks up too, however, little did he know, Izuku was being watched by a certain someone who has already taken an interest in him. Soon after, Izuku, for at least that of the next few minutes or so, at least out of 40 to 50 minutes, he finishes up that of the written part of the entrance exam and gives it to that of the person overseeing his part of the exam. That being that of a man wearing a tan trench coat, standing tall with that of seeing his teeth, as he wearing that of a black helmet, with showing as it basically covers his eyes and that make them look like they're whited out, as it being ectoplasm. As he soon grabs Izuku's test, saying, thank you. You still have time, so you can use this time to head to the auditorium hall where you'll be explained on the practical portion of the exam. Or you can roam around for a little bit. Just make sure that you don't wait too long, saying, thank you, sir. As then, Izuku grabs out of his things, with then saying, also, I didn't get a chance to ask. You had the permission to use that sword in the entrance exam, saying, yes, I signed all of the proper paperwork that allows me to use that of my sword for the entrance exam. But then saying, good. Most people forget that they had to sign certain paperworks like that. I've already had a few people who tried to bring in that of support gear from that of already made companies to help them get the edge. Outside of support gear that was already made for them to help them handle their quirks. Within saying, not too surprising, sir. Everybody wants to get an upper hand. They're willing to even break the rules to do so. Within, ectoplasm came up inside, saying, that's so true, young man. So true. As Izuku leaves the room, within, ectoplasm saying, good kid. Especially for Hasashi's boy. And back with Izuku, he continues basically walking around as he soon noticed that of the auditorium hall for that of applicants for the hero course, saying, there it is. Within, Izuku takes a seat as he's soon given a card where his name would be and that of a seat placement. As then, Izuku basically seeing the seat as he realized, oh, god damn it. He sees that a familiar person that he did not want to see again, and that being Bakugo. But then, Bakugo saying, Seriously, I had to sit right next to you saying, hey, I'm not too thrilled about this too either, Kachan. Let's just, I don't say anything to you, you don't say anything to me. Until that at the entrance exam is over, we go our separate ways. Deal? Well then soon, Bakugo wanted to growl back, before then realizing how reasonable it is, with then saying, fine, screw you anyway. With Izuku couldn't help but roll his eyes and not even bothered. With then looking at that of his, his paper, as it looks like that of a pamphlet that says that's on what they'll be doing for that of the, practical exam. As it goes by the rules, regulations, the targets that they'll be taking on, as he basically reads through it as much as he can, as within realizing that there are robots ranging from 1-pointer, 2-pointers, and 3-pointers. However, it shows that there's also another robot. However, it doesn't say anything about it though, as Izuku can't help but be a little bit confused. Surprisingly, unfortunately, he's actually muttering to himself while basically going through that of the notes. Then soon, Bakugo hears that of crackling explosions, but then realizing, shit. Within soon, without warning, he basically jumps up and avoids that of an explosion. With then Izuku thinking, sorry about that. I know, I ruined my own rules. Don't need to say anything. But then realizing I was just reading over that of the pamphlet that we were given. That's all. But then a lot of other people who came to the auditorium hall or were already in it were basically freaked out by that of Bakugo just attacking Izuku, as they all don't know what the hell is going on. However, some believe that Izuku was in the wrong. However, some believe Bakugo was in the wrong. Let's just say things are now intense in the auditorium as soon as everybody else shows up as well. That's when a man with that of spiked up, slick-backed hair with orange aviator sunglasses, and also that of leather jacket and pants, and also that of combat leather boots as well, as he has that of a somewhat speaker around that of his neck, as this being the voice hero, Present Mike, as Izuku couldn't help but basically be shocked and surprised seeing that of the voice hero, as he listens to his podcast at least every morning after all, before coming out of school, to be honest. Then, Bakugo couldn't help but get annoyed even more at that of Izuku. Then, it also doesn't help that a lot of people are glaring at him too, but also Izuku as well. As just like Izuku, he basically goes over everything that was on that of the test pamphlet and all that, from that of the rules, ranging from not attacking your fellow participants, not going to that of other zones and taking down robots from their areas, also secured certain support gear that isn't basically registered by them before the entrance exam will be taken away from them. Not to mention that they'll also be in different zones. Izuku basically saw this part as he didn't notice that, actually, as he realized that he's in a different zone from that of Bakugo, with Bakugo basically glaring at him, keep your eyes off my damn card, you damn nerd, saying, yeah, you were doing the same thing to me. So pot calling the kettle black. Within, Bakugo couldn't help but growl at that of Izuku. Within, soon, that's when that of a tall teen with that of blue hair, glasses, and has that of a pretty stiff and stiff appearance after all, as he begins to go over that of the robot missing from that of the pamphlet, and begins to go on that of a short little criticism rant on that of UA not giving out all the information and logic for that of the exam, and soon points at that of both Izuku and Bakugo for basically disturbing everybody around them, with Izuku muttering and also Bakugo basically constantly growling. Within, soon, Izuku could help but narrow his eyes a bit, before then, Bakugo could help but say, as both of them say at the same time, saying, don't let me in with this idiot, or Deku. Within, soon, Bakugo and Izuku saying, what the hell? Will you just stop that, you asshole? Shut up! With then, both of them go back and forth before then, Mike basically shouts out saying, "All right, that's it, you two, calm down." As he yells this using that of his quirk, which basically, causes a lot of people to cover their ears, even Izuku and Bakugo even more. But then Izuku saying, "Right, President Mike's quirk amplifies his voice." With then saying, "Should have shut up when I had the chance." Saying, now we agree on something, saying, "Same thing goes for you, you loudmouth." Saying, "You really want to go?" And soon, President Mike still basically goes into that of details on that of the fourth robot, being the 0-pointer, as you'll gain no points from taking it out. With the tall team satisfied with that of President Mike's explanation, as President Mike stops explaining, within gave him at least out of words of encouragement to go beyond with their alma mater's ideal words, go beyond plus ultra. As then a few people wanted to scream out plus ultra too, however, they decided not to. Soon after, a few minutes later, Izuku, now in that of his actual horror hunting attire, instead of wearing that of a track uniform or anything else like that, as he couldn't help but basically check out that of his double-edged katana, and looking that all of the edges are still sharp. Then, seeing that the gleam too, as he had to basically make sure to keep it sharp. Luckily, there's a place where he's able to sharpen up his swords properly and since he lives in that of an apartment building, where their landlord would definitely not allow them, especially his mother not allowing him to sharpen his weapons, he's free to go to that of the Makai Order branch in Masafu to make sure that all of his weapons are at tip-top shape. After all, with now, looking back, he sheathes that of his katana before looking at that of the massive gates, where he'll be taking part in the exam, saying, "Do they really need gates that big? But kinda makes sense after all." Who knows on how many people will be taking this test, and possibly those with size-changing quirks would need a gate that probably big. Within, Izuku basically reassuring himself, he soon looks around at that of his fellow participants before noticing that of the girl that helped him out from falling at the entrance to UA, saying, "Hey, that's her. She looks pretty nervous and shy after all. Maybe I should probably pep her up a little bit, give her at least a little bit of a motivation." As Izuku is about to take a step, before then sheathing his sword at quick speeds, within placing it at that of a boy's neck, as being the same tall boy from earlier. Within, as he can help but be completely and utterly shocked, as then Izuku saying, "It's pretty rude to basically try and grab somebody by their shoulder and be behind their blind spot. You don't know what could actually happen. Just letting you know not to basically try and do something to a person when they get the chance." Within, Tsu, the boy known as Tenya Ida, saying, I wasn't trying. I was trying to make you not," saying, "Stop making excuses for yourself. It's ridiculous." As Izuku basically walks off and then goes to that girl saying, It's then saying, "Hey, you okay? You seem quite nervous." But then saying, "Oh, you're the falling boy." Saying, "Yeah, I am." But then she's saying, "I'm glad that you're doing okay now. And also, yeah, I guess I am pretty nervous. You? Just a little bit. But I'm quite confident in myself. You should be too. With a quirk like yours, you should be able to handle yourself, right?" As Izuku gives that a smile, and she couldn't help but also smile back, saying, "Yeah, I guess so." Within, Izuku saying, "Can't believe I'm actually talking to a girl right now. All that confidence building and training I've been doing with the others is paying off. Thanks, Dad. Thanks, Uncle Taiga. Especially you, Aunt Miyumi." With then, soon, Izuku couldn't help but say, "Just try and take deep breaths. Calm yourselves. And just have that of a confident spirit in yourself. And you'll be able to make it. Trust me." As then, she kept saying, "Thanks. Really appreciate you comforting me," saying, "Anytime." With those encouraging words, Izuku soon walks off. Within, the girl known as Ochaka Uraraka couldn't help but thank Izuku even more. Now she is even more pumped and confident in herself too. Within, the boy known as Ida could help say he was trying to reassure her so she wouldn't feel nervous and shy. I thought he was trying to basically sabotage her instead, and yet I was truly wrong. Truly shows on how much I need to learn from my mistakes. Within, soon, the gates begin to open as everybody is shocked and surprised. Within, President Mike saying, "Go!" With soon, Izuku having that of a serious look on his face before then rushing into that of the gates at that of quick speeds. Within, soon, everybody else noticed this too, wondering what he's doing. Within, President Mike saying, "I told you said go! There's no countdown in battle!" Within, somebody else also blitzes into that of the testing zone too. As from their figure alone, it looks like that of a silver-haired girl. However, it looks like she's holding something in her hands though. Then, soon everybody else begins to catch up. As Izuku having a bit of a head start, he soon realized that he needs to take down as many robots as he can. Given that he's quirkless, he needs to focus more on that of his agility and quick reflexes to get the upper hand. As he soon notices that of the first robot, as it being that of a one-pointer, as then the wheel-guided and Gatling gun having green robot basically shins that of a barrage of gunfire towards that of Izuku. Within, Izuku seeing that of the bullets as he basically cuts right through them, as they being that of heavy hard balls actually, as they won't be lethal, but they will hurt like hell and they might leave a mark. Within, soon, Izuku cuts right through them without even breaking a sweat, before then slicing that of the arms and the head of the robot, as he soon slides to the ground and also collapses, giving Izuku at least out of 1 point. However, as soon as he destroys the robot, that's when everybody else begins to catch up, especially those with that of speed-based quirks like that of Ida, as he blitzes through that of Izuku, within Izuku running off to that of another area too, as he soon slices through that of multiple robots, from that of 2-pointers, 1-pointers, and at least that of a few 3-pointers. Not that many 3-pointers though, given that it would take a lot of time to cut right through it. Sure, he could use that of his Garo armor. However, there's no point of basically wasting when it comes to threats like this. Unlike that of the horrors themselves, these are nothing but toys. With soon slicing through that of another 2-point robot, as it's basically a scorpion-themed robot, as the, ammunition comes from that of its tail. Within, soon, Izuku basically going even further and further. However, outside of that, the test area, and that of a monitoring room, seeing that at the very faculty of UA, as many of them are quite impressed on those who are able to stand out and are able to give show what they're all truly capable of. As screens showing that of a boy with that of multiple arms, as some of those arms show that of eyes and also mouths and ears, while his main face basically just has that of a mask on, as he has that of silver hair and is quite tall and muscular. As then there's also being that of another boy with that of blonde hair and wearing quite that of the, fancy attire actually, as he shoots that of a laser from that of his waist. And also, surprisingly, another person that's standing out. However, it's not just Bakugo who also is standing out with that of a pretty twisted smile on his face, with his palms out and explode, and that of, his smoke coming off of them. Another person that's in that of Izuku's test area, as they are being that of the same silver-haired girl from before. However, in her hands, or rather, floating around her, being that of short sword daggers, as she uses these short swords and fly them to that of the robots, as they basically pierce right through them and slash them up from a distance, causing her to basically rack up points as well, with even showing that of Izuku and his prowess with that of his sword training. As many of the staff couldn't help but be impressed by each and every one of these applicants. Even one keeping an eye on that of two other applicants, though. Within that of an individual with that of a high-pitched voice couldn't help but speak up and then saying, but even so, but a true hero's abilities are shown when they're basically put to the test and towards their limits. As that of a pretty scrawny but somewhat tall individual basically lifts up that of a switch and then presses a red button back on that of the test site, with Izuku basically blitzing through that of several other robots, ranging from that of a 2-pointer, a 3-pointer, and another 2-pointer. Within, as he soon basically swings his blade, looking like he's removing blood. However, there's barely any blood on it, even though these things should be having that of oil out of them. But hey, Izuku's not complaining, as he takes another sigh before racking up that of the many points he's gained, as he was about to try and add them up. Before then, he begins to feel a rumbling. No, that of a shaking, actually. Within soon, Izuku begins to feel that of something coming above him as it blocks out that of the sun. Within him looking up, saying, oh, so that's the 0-pointer. Seeing that of a massive green robot with that of several glowing red eyes. As then, soon, everybody else begins to run away. Before then, Izuku could basically sigh, saying, I was expecting it to be more of a problem. And looking at it now, it's not even worth taking down, to be honest. Even if it was worth points, it wouldn't be worth it. It wouldn't be much of a good time. However, that's not important right now. I need to a lot of people are reacting and panicking like crazy. I should probably focus on keeping them all within before Izuku could continue and basically run off to guide people away from that of the 0-pointer. He soon heard somebody basically screaming for help, that they're pinned down, as he soon knows that voice as being Uraraka. Within realizing, that girl, the same girl that I tried to cheer up, she's trapped. Why isn't anybody doing anything? Why hasn't nobody helped her? And why hasn't she used her quirk? Within realizing, unless she can't, she's too pinned. Before then realizing, as much as I would take that thing down, I got no time. And I'm not fast enough to reach her in time either, so guess I got no choice. Within soon, Izuku, having that of a serious look, standing in place, arms spread, before then raising up that of his sword arm, spinning his blade, as then coming out of that of the circle, as then being the armor pieces of the Golden Knight, Garo, seeing him in that of his shining golden glory, wolf head and all, and golden longsword. But soon, and running at that of blinding speeds, moving so fast that people basically believe that Izuku is nothing but a blur, as he rushes towards that of Ochako. However, somebody else noticed saying, I knew it. It is him. As it being a feminine voice. Within soon, as Uraraka trying her best to get out. Before then, all the debris that was above her was soon slashed away by that of Izuku. Within, she completely and utterly shocked and terrified at Izuku. Within, Izuku saying, sorry. I guess my looks would be terrifying under this helmet. Within, she's saying, wait, that voice, you're that boy. Saying, yeah, hang on, let me get you out of here. As then, basically picking her up. Before then, bridal carrying her. As Uraraka couldn't help but blush at the fact that she's being saved. And also being carried like this. Before the 0-pointer could actually, step on them, he blitzes past that of the 0-pointer and that of blinding speeds. Within heading straight back for the exit, the entrance of the test area. Within ensued a lot of other people trying to catch their breath after being away from that of the 0-pointer. Within, even that of Ida couldn't help but try and take deep breaths too. Before then, looking around and couldn't help but and see that of Izuku in his armor. Within looking, what is that thing? Who are you? Within soon putting her down onto the ground, before then dematerializing the armor off of Izuku. Within saying, you're that boy, saying, yeah, basically call me out for later. Right now, she needs help. Within hearing that of a buzzer, as the entrance exam comes to an end. Within saying, wait, it's over already? But you... it's alright, it's fine. As long as you're safe and taken care of, that's all that matters. Within, Ochako saying, yeah, but... Within, before she could continue and say and apologize for that of letting Izuku basically fail, thinking that he failed and not got as many points as he could have, especially with that armor on, given how fast he was moving. Within, she's saying, oh my, it seems like all of you are done quite well. Truly amazing. Many of you are all heroes in the making, but nothing wrong with taking things a lot more safe and a lot less, well, crazy after all. Within, all of the participants and examinees couldn't help but look at that of an elderly woman with that of grayish hair, a lab coat, syringe in her hair, keeping it into a bun. However, she's also using a syringe as a cane as well. Within, many people wondering who she is, before Izuku saying, oh my god, you're Recovery Girl! You're the youthful heroine that has one hell of a healing quirk. I'm a huge fan. Within saying, oh dearie, I'm surprised that people even remember who I am nowadays, to be honest. It makes me kind of embarrassed. Within, Izuku bowing his head, before then saying, tell me you two, are you injured anywhere? Within, Izuku saying, oh no, I'm fine. But she is, within saying, oh, I see. Sprained ankle, it seems. Don't worry, nothing that can't be healed. As then, she begins to kiss that of Ochako on her cheeks, as she begins to blush, with even Izuku blushing too. Within soon, the soreness that's around that of her right ankle begins to go away. Within saying, there, dearie, that should be all that needs to be taken care of. Before handing that of gummies to that of Uraraka. Before then, heading to that of the next person. Within, she's saying, did she really need to kiss me though? As Izuku couldn't help but comment and say, oh, well, yeah, her quirk basically is able to heal anybody, causing them to regenerate that, allowing them to go back to that state that they were before, basically amplifying the healing process and speeding it up. However, it takes that of the person's metabolism to do so. It's quite a fascinating and amazing quirk. Within, Ochako looking weirded out as he knows this, as then Izuku saying, oh, sorry, guessing I'm muttering. Saying, no, it's okay, it's just surprising. Not a lot of people take a lot of details in that of people's quirks after all. It's actually kind of cool, with Izuku blushing a bit saying, cool? As that of the tall greenette teen couldn't help but basically get a little bit embarrassed. Within, soon, the people basically continue looking at Izuku, thinking that he basically risked his chance of getting more points. Some say that he showed off for nothing if he was just saving her, while some thinks that he's pretty cool in that armor, while some are kind of terrified at it, that it kind of looked like that of a villain armor. However, two people, on the other hand, think otherwise, as one of them being that of Ida, as he feels responsible and should have basically helped out to save her, and yet he basically ran off as well. That if it wasn't an exam, he probably would have, before shaking his head, saying that that's an excuse. And if it was an exam, he should have saved her. After all, he's an Ida. It's his duty to protect those in need. And then there's that of the silver-haired girl, getting a better look at her. She wears that of a gym uniform that kind of fits around that of her body snugly, as she has her hands out almost like that of basically a ghost, to be honest. She has that of quite the puffy lips, actually, to be honest, and her silver hair with a bang basically covering that of the right side of her eye. and on her waist are that of the short swords. Then saying, "He's him. That's truly him. Izuku Midoriya. This generation's Garo, the Gold Knight, it seems. Interesting. You're an interesting one indeed." As it almost looks like she's smiling at that of Izuku. And that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please tell me what you guys think in the comments below. Let's read them. So, how did you guys like this part? It's another long explanation and, well, information chapter after all. My apologies. Like I said, I gotta show on how much that this Izuku has changed from that of his canon counterpart after all. He's still the same, personality-wise, but he has more of a backbone after all, given everything he's gone through. The training to become that of the Golden Knight, to be honest. So yeah, at any rate. Also, the Silver Knight in UA, if you guys haven't noticed on who it is, then I don't know what to tell you. So yeah, at any rate, with all that said, if you guys like this, please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell notification key to date my videos uploaded on the channel. Also, please check out my Discord, gaming channel, side channel, other channel, Patreon, and Cash App. All linked in the description below. So, with all that said, this is Leon Mookie, signing out. Later guys, hope you all take care. Shiro Kitsune, you know what to do, my lady.
Hi everyone, this is White Fox. If you liked Leon's video, click the video on the left to see the most recent one. And if you want to see more of this, click the subscribe button and notification bell and check out his playlists. If you still haven't subscribed, do so in the center. With that said, I hope to see you again on my love's channel. Bye!